And that is
You
the
people
factual
can continue.
explanation of what a system change is.
Hello?
No, Munga, go ahead.
Mike, Dudu just ñila la wax video wise la wax.
Damakone, man PDOIS, 7 components you mo nunu. Munumako magically have, right? Why Damako guarantee 7 components you know yep. So build on an architecture of a system thing that fall under that umbrella. Because of the definition is inclusive of whatever you want to make it be. So long what I'm explain alko. So don't build system change bobu no danga make sa architecture bi. Nga build ko. Come tay so bugon na build sa nek. Munga wa 2-3 bedroom architecture bi nila. Li agli like def. Maybe my def light be, maybe do my def more efficient lights or not. That still is gonna fall under it. So nyo nga ne mane did it. Yow danga ne light bila wa ñun light bila am doesn't make still is gonna be under that umbrella. Lola. It doesn't matter. I don't need to know what their 7 components are. But if you want to tell me what these 7 components are, that's fine. They can be great. Sure. But do they complete the full definition of what a system change is? They are still going to fall under it.
That's true. But Dudu ja.
Madi, you know the right.
As it just pause.
Why? Now Mike Monica
Champions. Luai dega fum amut jama du fa am ñu doxal dega bi Adama Barrow lo fi waxon ne ci 2 term you have to go.
Well, yow mom li nga explain and the topic of this discussion dafa melni goudi ak becc. We're not into that because so ege nga buga attack
man waxuma yow ay Adama
and it's gonna take the whole conversation upside down. Let's talk about the issue.
Please.
Do is okay.
To understand. With your own opinion. Nga buga kenen tame mu gisee lolu. This is a country division. Everybody have his own opinion. No matter whether it's wrong or he's right. Because this is
Bro Ismaila, there is a topic here. We're not talking about opinion. So hamudanga like Yagana Sisuf Mange Deglu. It's not about a matter of opinion. There's a topic on the table. Sufeke dan Chibugawa, we can allow you to go ahead, but we're not talking about opinion. Sufeke opinion la watan bidu am from them. You want to talk about essence, Mandama Bugawa Mburu, Kenen Mua Ede, Kenen Mua Benachin, Funyo them. It's not about opinion here.
There's a topic
on the table that we're discussing.
Great thinker mom mako ekati mom wacha na sax mom mo ekati topic bu don la
fok mu wacha
is
because
system change
because
what is the definition of system
change we were not on a general discussion. Lan mo is the issue of PDOIS as a political party ñewut mu is system change lo xamne is something general worldwide dafa yaga def politique Gambia mu wor ku deka bi katon fu koyna mu interact ak nit ñi mom lum gom ne Gambia fi luy mëna isi change lolu la tek. It's not on general terms and yeen lolu ngeen bugu ta deglu mota mané fokk nga bay ku nek ci parti bi mu wax la lan la
No, Duduja, I will not agree. Kaima wahla, gis nga system change, right, in governance. It has.
Oh my God.
ñëpp mute nañ foog naa bii moom nii la gën a bàyyi sax but
man luma wa Dudu Jah, right?
Mike, it will be dafa rafet now Mike, because if you want to respond to everybody now duñ mën a am conversation now normally when you are explaining everybody will be quiet and allow you to wah sa opinion or sa understanding benga dana. But if somebody just started 1 second during the conversation, I mean, then you want to interject every second, we will not go anywhere because you've talked about your
Very much, brother.
understanding
And they close my mind.
of change.
It's not fair.
And
It's not
Lord
going to take
nen la
us
ko
nowhere.
nangu.
You're right.
Nen la ko nangu, right? But if somebody also is saying something different, contrast to what you say, it might not be the same context being our, or it might not have a literally meaning of exactly the same vocabulary. But at the end of the day, suñ déglu wante dinañ aga fuñ wara aga. Because yow li nga wax ni, that's how you understand system change. And that's how you can explain it to somebody else ko xam ne xamut. But somebody else can have a different way of saying it. It doesn't mean that that person is wrong. Because man suma la déglu all the time, yaa ngi wax ne true experience. I don't know whether you've ever worked in a government, environment, or have worked in any government institutional. Bo xam ne yaa ngi wax true experience. Because an experience in business is very different to an experience in government. They cannot be the same. How you operate a business is very different to how a government operates. So, loolu foog ñu understand ko. So, moo tax suñoo waxtaan def dee baax pour ñu dégluwan. Mike wax nga yow bu great thinker laajte lan mooy system change. Now, we can come with 10 different definitions of system change, depending on where you're looking at it and what you want to achieve. But you also is the architectural view of this and that. Great. That we're talking about the structures and the way things are operate. But somebody else might want to change the system in another perspective. Bo xamne yow fofu lalu lok. Fofo nga allow kenen tam mu wax kenen wax. At the end of the day, you said naka la ñew reconcile all those opinions and become one meaningful thing for everybody to understand. So loolu laa bëgg a wax rek man suma wax jotaangut waaye ñu mayante. Now buñ dee gaaw a interject nit su dooree you have to allow the person nga xaar ko ba fu moo dem ba fu moo jeexale you can have a better understanding, an idea of what the person wanted to say or mean. Waaye su dooree rek nga interject no, you will never understand and you never know where the person is going.
ma yokka fa tuuti rek gis nga li moo tax Senegalese politicians ak système Sénégal ak système Gambie uti Senegalese système bi soo toogee seetaan seen plateforme si dañ toog dégluwante kii dafa wax ba daaneel keneen ki take over te ku nekk dina déggal sa morom waaye fekk ñu ngi def lii mooy tax coalition ak whatsoever this is the problem of Gambian ne leen change suñu attitudes. To change our attitude na nga balam ma jégalu nekku ne dama saaga but it's something we have to put in our system fu njaa ñuy déglu su amul rek doo dégga kii di waxee boor
yow tam yaa ngi emotional Gambie yow nit yi ñaa ngi déglu wante bu leen di wax yeneen dëkk yi ngeen méngoo ko mu gën a jiitu Gambie ñi nii nit yëpp ay benn leen ñu ngi déglu wante mais boo leen di waxtaan fii ngeen jëleel benn dëkk encore aj ko kaw Gambie loolu is a part of demotion la.
No, it's not demotional. It's not demotional.
Ismaila guy li ñoo wax is right. Su nit ki dee wax lu gaay wax tamit dëgg la bu leen dog Ismaila. Lu ki wax is right, and Milo lu say brother bi mujjee wax is right, suñ déglu wante wut soo tëjutee sa mic bi sa doo déggalu nit ki di wax number one. Après attitude bi loolu lañ war a change, system change bi attitude bi suñ ko change duñu yóbbu fenn Gambian attitude bi nañ leen di déglu wante ak xel nañ di déglu wante xol ok jërëjëf waay.
mooy plateforme bi nag léegi-léegi daf leen dem from 100 to 0 bi fii ñu ngi toog 1 point duñ dee déggalante te léegi moom ñëpp noppi and kenn waxut
dan nañu may la so ñun la may so once you're done you can then respond xam nga lu ma dee bañ mooy ne we come here we mislead people We try to make a definition what it is not. The average Gambian is not as sophisticated. So because of the average Gambian is not as sophisticated, I would expect Nyunga Hamneni we are a little bit sophisticated. We will set the record straight. It's not about when you get disrespect.
Mike,
We can argue to the point whereby we can come to a conclusion. Whether we can agree to disagree and move forward, or say, yeah, I see your point. I'm trying to make you see the point, because what you're doing is yow yange jelle nangane lolula mean, right? It does not mean that, man, and I'm confident it does not mean what you're saying. You're just saying a part of what you are doing. You want to say lolu moy definition.
Excuse me.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, if you to define system change, are you defining system change dictionarily, or are you defining it from your experience, or are you defining it from what?
Okay,
Help
then
us.
code define nunko here the general context. Then get apply code to what system is being changed, and then you say okay.
Define in simple terms what is system change. In a simple English, Bohamme, a primary 4 student can understand. That is very simple. Define for us system change where somebody in grade 3 will understand. Not talking about somebody with master's degree, but someone in grade 3, Bohamme, or someone who just graduated from grade 12 can understand. I think that would help us.
What? Okay, my brother, man, that muna ñëw in.
Xam nga ñu doore ko foofu noonu. Da nga gis ne dinañ mën a am waxtaan bu lifin parce que xam nga suñoo wax dañoo mën a waxtaan boo xam ne we have to come to the most minimal or the most simplest definition boo xam ne even somebody with a very low IQ can comprehend lu ñoo waxtaan. Xam nga
man wax naa la ne lan mooy system change in this day and age. So buguta def research, that's your problem. Google is free. There's
Mike,
so many other
what is system change?
So I'm got dama wax ne nii, right? You can always lean, right? Mungama always leaning, right?
Yeah.
Man, I am fine with that. The man is so naked was something, right? You can easily do a simple Google search or whatever, and take your course from reliable institutions and see what that means, and see whether that align with what you are saying, whether it falls under the consensus of what they mean when it comes to governance.
But what did
That's very
anybody say
simple.
here? What is so different
So
to your legal?
domane suma seven components ini. Okay, manela ne man how malol man wanala the general context of what it is and what it is when it comes to government. I already told you, right? Okay, system B. So only danga change system B. There must be deep issues in the system that you already have, because you're not going to tell me we don't have a system. We have a system. It's not working, right? So you want to do a change of that system. Domane manila buga change a system B. So therefore lola mean. Then what are you telling me? It does to me is illogical. You must define it. Ngane under umbrella bini. Under umbrella bi ugly like deaf. So mane wa lolu nga buga def pour change system bi. I can understand that. Why lolu minute ne lolu moy system change.
But Mike, can
I ask you something?
Simple question. What is system change? That's what we want to know.
How many times I repeat my bob?
Oh, head naman manually.
Wow, so lolu mota mane yow so amut so fi neku don hana then yow nekulo bu ma explain great think of what a system change is.
No, understand now why lumalawa moy. What did landlord law hamnen kenen wahna, which is so different to your
money is altering the architecture of how government works. So Lone Motor, I was very specific of government works. Manila ne dafa include policy changes, include not changing leaders. It includes up to the point of even changing the constitution to make government work. Balanga in even go for a system change, there must be a problem in the system. If there's a
Absolutely.
problem in the system, then gonna legi we need a system change. So legi, we're gonna look at lan moy the major issues luta ñu buga change system bi. Corruption. Then out of that architecture, you have to remember the word is an architecture. Sibir architecture bobu, lan nga buga change sibir architecture bobu nonu pour muna close those loops yi nga gis ne moy problem bi. Lol mota the keyword was altering the architecture. Wow, yow nak mun nga wax ci sa architecture bi li ak li ak li ak li la buga def. Why lolu doesn't define system change. Understand? Ngane okay, li corruption la. Naka la ñoo defé let us change the architecture of government. Okay, let us integrate government into one, whereby we can know what's going on real time, right? Then we can close that loop. Then you are doing a system change. So system change be li ugly nga. Ngane okay, government policy no more dohe waruta dohe ni. Nan change lolu nonu tamit. Ngane the constitutional order no more demeni dem nan change. It depends. Lan si lolu nga buga def. So why architecture be always more like guide? Okay? Architecture be more like guide. So I'm with that architecture. You don't have the family, you don't have a map and you want to go somewhere. So I don't know whether you got my point or not.
Mike, I get your point.
So this is what I'm saying. It's very simple.
I get your point. Now, I am not disagreeing with you. But what I also want you to agree with me is someone else can define system change without using the word architect. And it can means the same.
Okay.
We need to agree on that. Now, just because that word architect or author can be omitted from your statement and it can still mean system change. It doesn't have to be exactly those words have to be included in your statement for it to be defined, be able to define what system change is. Mansuma argument fufula. Now, what you said is exactly what system change would be if you use all the words, because word in English, one word, another word can have the same meaning. Like for instance, if I to define a system change, I can say it means a shift or fundamental shift or interconnecting certain things to make sure to achieve a different outcome. That's a system change, right? I haven't used the word architect. I haven't used the word alter, but you and I have the same explanation of something that we want. Because system change, basically, in a simple term, is to do something different to have a different outcome. That's what the system change means. If I want to explain that to a primary school student, I don't have to go an architect or altering. His or her vocabulary might not be at that level. But if I tell them that system change is to do something different in order to achieve a different outcome, I think that is more simpler than using the architect of this to alter that. Of course, you are right. I am not saying you're wrong. But what I'm saying is we can use different terms or different vocabulary and yet still come to the same conclusion. How man the young man understand? I've never said that you are wrong. What you said is absolutely right. And that is correct. Because for a system to change, something must be there that's not working. So you have to do something different. And you have to do something different. It must start from where the framework is. What are you going to change? Change, in another word, mean altering. Doing something different. But what I'm saying, we don't have to rigidly stick on the vocabulary sense of it and say, if we don't mention that, then our statement is wrong.
Wait until he open his mic so you can. Oh,
You know,
yeah.
this was my argument. Mike, you are right. You are right. Everything you said is absolutely correct. Because to change the system, this is what you have to do. This is what you do. But what I'm saying, it doesn't have to be the same vocabulary. Just because someone doesn't mention alter or architects in his or her statement doesn't mean they're not defining system change. You know, that is my argument. But I'm never saying that you're wrong. And I would not say that. What you said is right.
yéen ñaar yëpp di same thing ngeen a wax.
Exactly man moo la loolu mooy suma waxtaan mooy ñun ñëpp ñu ngi wax benn wax waaye we using different vocabularies waaye benn meaning bi lañ wax lu ñoo wax mooy si luñ am ni doxut dañ ko war a def
xam nga lu nekk sa problème bi right now lu tax muy echo am na ku nekk sa boor mu ngi am wax ko mu wàññi volume am bi wax am na volume boo war a wàññi sa side loolu tax muy echo su fekkee da nga ubbi sa mic yeah
man kii
no foog naa maa ngi suma moto bi moo tax xaaral ma fay so am nga Daddy L if you want me to respond or because I don't want to interfere lu ma laa wax ne sa argument becomes moot, right? MOOT, right? So it's redundant because it's like Mange explained that Angane Malolu is not system change. That is the argument here. That doesn't mean maybe how manda hamga fuwa bidore, right? So it just renders your argument moot or redundant. Anyway, so because Yange was the same thing Lumawa. If we don't change the words, it just doesn't change it. Lo lalawa. Ak no mundinyo way, you're gonna come to the same conclusion. So man lo lala don't regardless, right? So that doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. Maybe hamulonu watan bidore. So lo lawa mane just because sunne leader for wrong, te munyo wahne lutamu wrong, then we are misleading the other people listening. So that was my point. So you cannot just come unless Manelane maybe
no, Mike. You are jumping a little bit ahead because the thing is, when we say system change, we first and foremost define what system is all about. Then we go and proceed how we're going to achieve this and how we're going to do it. Man wa umalane yo linga explain ni I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah? Linga wa ni I know it. And wallahi, I can promise you, if I'm not going to say I know better, but I can guarantee you that you don't know better than me either. Because Mantam Lumawa, I am fully confident to what I'm saying, and I know what I'm saying. How man understand?
No, why?
100%. You are right. 100%. Man, I disagree with my Daddy. You are 100% right. Luma based on argument bufi nekon. How man that fake argument bido?
No fake na.
The mala one just get no 100% confident in no, right? Just get no 100% confident no. Man, I was 100% confident what I was saying. You are right to be 100% confident, right? So money muna twiste, you're gonna come to the same conclusion.
Exactly.
And the same thing. I think
we agree now.
Question be a Kimoko race. Great thinker. So what you doing, bro? Momoko race, Monjaka race question really, you know. After Mike Momoron different one time man lola ron wa Gambian si dal attitude bi by force tamin xam nga su fekkee ne dañ bëgg comme looy wax noonu moom mu explain ko lu gën a easy pour a grade for mbaate ku nekk primary school sa mun na understand lan mooy system change, you know, loolu la grade thing ka doon different fii nii so loolu moo nekkoon question bi all night all day daal, you know, tey so attitude bi daal man loolu laa si gën a gis daal ak different bi justice bi, you know, suñ ko change xam nga changes moom moo nekkal, you know, system change daal lu nga xam ne dañ ko loolu dafa yomba, you know, anybody mun koo understand system bu fa nekk baaxul lu nga xam ne baaxul nga war koo change.
Exactly.
But yow nga gis ne sa yaram bi fu mu nekk nii yaa ngi need some exercise pour nga am muscle nga dem di anyway nga sa système yaram bi change, you know.
Saa man d'accord ma ci loolu de. D'accord ma ci loolu de.
Waaw jërëjëf su la neexee bu d'accord nit ku nekk yaa moom sa gom-gom.
Xam nga dama ne d'accord ma.
Waaw waxal loo d'accord.
Système yi Gambia
soo tegee dara da nga faa teg dara. waaw yow teg fa dara.
waaw dégg ma ne système yi Gambia amul problème. Gambia lu ñu am mooy ne ñun nit ñi ñoo am problème. Human being
ko ñoo dégg loolu ma ne attitude bi jikko Gambia mooy attitude système change bi suñ change te attitude ak dégga ne ko fa justice amul fa nga ne ma loolu amul soo teg fa dara koñ loolu la fa teg si xam
nga lu tax may la ma ne la Gambia yow système bi amul problème human behavior moo am problème te loolu mooy ñun Gambien ak ñu nekk ci government bi anyway because government dañ am lu ñoo wax, you know, I mean textes yoo xam ne ni maanaam noonu la ñu war a
man du ma dee ragal wax rek si
liggéey
seen